Hey guys, so today I want to review the Spectra pump. I have another pump that I use for my first child, and that's Philips Event. So I'm going to compare a lot from this pump to that one. I want to do a separate review on the Philips pump as well, if there are ladies out there that are looking into that. But since this is the one that I live in and day out right now, I thought it would be a really good starting point to kind of review this pump. So I got my pump off of Amazon, and it was about $170, which is really on par with the Events pump. There's definitely tons of other pumps that are a little bit cheaper, but you know, for me who uses my pump every day, and I pump at least 7 times a day, sometimes 8 times if I wake up in the middle of the night to do it, then you know, definitely buying a more expensive pump really just pays for itself in the end, because I will be living with this for probably over 9 months. So that's really important to me to get a really good pump. I bought this pump because on the description it said it was a hospital grade pump, and there was a couple other features that I really loved too. But this is what it looks like here. Okay, and when you get it, it comes with this main piece right here. This is the motor, or basically what drives the pump, or the pump itself actually. And then you get the 2 tubes. These tubes connect to basically it's the breast shield, or the part that goes on your nipple, and this is where you pump into, and you connect this into here. Okay, and that's where that goes on your nipple, and you get 2 of them, and the 2 bottles also come with nipples and stuff like that, so that way you can pump directly into the bottles and then feed them directly to the baby if you need to. And then also it comes with a wall outlet, and I'll talk to you guys a little bit about this in a bit. Okay, the breast shield area itself has some parts that go like this. You just connect it to the back like that, and then I just pump, so then you can see there's some water, and I just kind of rinse this out a little bit. But then the bottle goes onto this part right here, and then you have this little thing in here. Now when you're cleaning it, you know, you could take all these things apart. What I really like about this is that it doesn't have any extra little parts in here, so that way it's kind of easy to clean. I know with my Events Philips pumps there was an extra piece in there, and I didn't clean it for a really long time, and so when I took it out, it was like encrusted with like old milk, so that was really gross. But I'm assuming you can probably take this part out and maybe clean this part as well. But what I really like about this is very minimal parts, so it's easy to clean, easy to rinse out, so that way you can use it again in your next, you know, 2 hours or whatever, however you want. Okay, all right. So a couple things about this here. Okay, you have these buttons right here, and it has a power button, and then a cycle button, and then a vacuum button, and a night light button. Okay, so a few things about these features. I really don't know what the cycle button does. I actually think that I can't feel the difference with it. I stay on cycle 38, and it works fine for me. That's default cycle, I think. And then it has the vacuum button. The vacuum button is basically the power of suction, and I usually try to do like a 5 or a 4 or something like that. But you know, if you need more suction, you can always go up as well. And then it has a night light, which is a great feature, because you know, if you are pumping in a room with somebody sleeping in it in the middle of the night, it's great just to have a little small night light and not have to turn on all the lights in the room to pump, and then also to be able to see what you're doing. Okay, so the pump itself is kind of big, but what I really like about it is it has the handle, so you can carry it around. And the other great feature about this is actually this pump has a chargeable battery, so you can actually just charge it overnight, or charge it like maybe a couple of days before. I've been using this for 3 days on the same battery charge, so the charge actually holds quite a long time, and that way you can basically pump anywhere in the house and not have to worry about an outlet. It's perfect for people who pump on the go, especially me, knowing me from my last child. I used to pump on the go all the time, and I would pump while driving, so just one extra thing I don't have to worry about trying to find power and having a charged pump. It works perfect, and even with a rechargeable battery, the suction is really great. okay? And then when you turn it on, the other good feature is that it shows a timer on it, so it tells you how long you've been pumping. So you can use apps for that. I use Milkmaid, and it tells me, you know, how long I've been pumping, and then it keeps track of my stash and, you know, where I store my milk and stuff like that. So you can always use that, but it's also nice just to not have to be attached to your phone all the time and just be able to know exactly how much you pump. And I'll tell you, you know, what your cycle you're on and how much vacuum pressure you have. Okay, and there's a little area right here which I assume is to hold a bottle, I guess, you know. So I guess if you wanted to be really compact, you could, I don't know, have one bottle here and then pump one breast, okay? The other thing I wanted to mention about this is that if you want to pump just one breast, so, you know, it's like to save time, like if you're nursing one breast and you want to pump the other breast. So it comes with 2 tubes, and the 2 tubes go on top of each other, or one on top of the other. And when you get it, there's going to be this little like knob piece right here that goes over one of them. So if you want to pump just one breast, you have to remember that you have to cover this top hole right here, and then use the bottom one to pump whichever breast you would like. So that's just one thing that you have to know about. I know with my Vince one I didn't have to do that, but for this one you do. And one of the things I don't love is that once you put this little knob on, it is kind of hard to get it off because this hole is just so small. So it just time consuming trying to get that off. So you have to find like a keys or something like that so that we can kind of squeegee it off, okay? The other thing that I don't really love is that the size of this is pretty big, so it's hard to find a carrier or something like that that you would have to carry this in along with other things as well. I'm going to probably do a video about, you know, things that you'll need to pump on the go, and you know, with this and a freezer bag and, you know, ice storage and everything, it becomes quite a large, hefty bag. So, you know, if they could condense the size down, that would be ideal. It doesn't, I think the 170 price doesn't come with a carrying bag, so you have to buy one. So, you know, that might be one extra expense that you have to think about if you were to get this Spectra pump. Okay, as far as the feeling of the pump goes, it's you do get a lot of suction, but also a vibration as well. So it might feel a little better for some of you moms that, you know, don't like the really hard suction. So that's kind of nice, and, you know, I'm indifferent about that. I guess I'll have to, you know, use my vent pump, and I'm going to do that probably in the next week or so, in the next couple of weeks or so, and just fire it up to just see the comparison. I'll do a separate video on the comparison between the two, but we'll just have to see, you know, if, you know, that hurts my nipples more than this as well. The other thing I have to mention is that this thing is really, really quiet. Like, I lived with my vent pump for a long time. Last time was about 9 to 10 months that I used that thing, and it was not very quiet. It was very, very loud. I actually, if I had to pump in a room with somebody else and they were sleeping, or like in the middle of the night or something, I would have to take a pillow and put it over the pump itself or the motor. So it was much, much louder than this. This you can barely even hear it. So I would say for noise purposes, this is a really, really, really good buy. Okay, so overall I'm pretty satisfied with the pump. You're probably wondering, how much can I pump and is it really efficient? Now there's a couple factors. I mean, like I said, this is my second child. This is my second time doing this whole pumping thing again. So I find that I pump a lot more efficiently than I do this time, than I did last time, but it also, I don't know, like I said, I have to do a comparison video so that way it can give you guys a little bit more idea. So, you know, when I get that up, I'll link that video on this video so that way you guys can actually watch the two and kind of see the difference. But I can do probably about, maybe I try to pump between 1.5 to 2 hours, because I have a newborn right now and I try to pump as much as she eats, you know. So probably about 1.5 hours. I can pump about 3 ounces, maybe 4 ounces if I drink a lot of water and I take all my milk making supplements and stuff like that. And I can do that in about 5 minutes. So actually, so if you think about pumping for 5 minutes for both breasts, and you can get about 3 ounces, which is what newborns actually drink in one sitting anyway, that's pretty efficient. And then I can, you know, put in the fridge and go on and do other things in the rest of my hour. So that's really, really good. And I think that, so I pump about 7 to 8 times a day, and I've been average probably about 25 ounces. So it's worked really well for me, and I try to pump between like 5 to 10 minutes. And in the morning time when I'm really full, I like to pump about maybe 15 minutes. So that way I could try to get as much milk out as I can. But overall, it's been doing really, really well, and I feel like the pumping time has gone down tremendously from my last time. Okay, so hopefully this video kind of helps you if you're thinking about buying the Spectra pump, and seeing all the features and kind of what my experience with it. If you would like to know a little bit more about it, make sure you subscribe to this channel so that way you can keep up on the future videos I mentioned about. Talk to you next time. Bye!